I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jesse.
We're Cannabis School. Having cannabis-infused conversations
With everyday people,
cannabis companies,
celebrities,
and your mom.
welcome to the sesh.
Well, today we're going to talk about why does fast food make you feel like shit?
We know why it makes us feel like shit.
Well, no, we don't. Not all the time, because some people might argue it, right? So this is random, all right? But I started looking through it, and you know why Pizza Hut's nasty? It's because they have super high fat content and excessive sodium and processed ingredients and spices and food. See, the thing is, you shouldn't eat it, but it's so delicious. Why is it delicious? Why do we like more? What's your favorite
just
junk
like-
food, man?
Like fast food?
Any of it.
Oh, I like In-N-Out. Honestly, I am a cheap fucker. I will sit there and I look at what's the deals going on? And I'll open up their app and I'm like, oh, Mickey D's. I can go pay 99 cents and get any size fry. And I'll go get like a large fry for 99 cents. And then I'll go to Wendy's and I'll be like, oh shit, you can get a 99-cent something today. I eat most of those, but I try and do it sparingly because I know it's not super good. You've been doing way less junk food now, though, huh?
I don't eat junk food very often. I'm still about 180 pounds, and I eat like one of my favorite things to eat after I smoke a bowl is an apple. I'll slice up an apple and I'll eat that. It helps get if I was smoking out of a bong, to get the flavor out of my mouth and everything like that. And then, yeah, I have to eat healthier now. My body just does not allow me to do that. But it doesn't mean that I don't, have occasional candies and stuff like that. But I try to keep it to a minimum. I really do.
We do have junk food. I eat candy once in a while.
Dude, I got this nut granola at Costco, and it's got like dried blueberries. It's nothing but nuts. And there's no
Okay.
sugar in it. There's so teeny bit of sugar. Like for a half a cup or a cup of it, it's like 2 grams of sugar. So it's like a cereal for me. And I don't eat cereal very often, but every once in a while I like to. But dude, cereals, like, they fuck me up, man. I'll eat some like
Yeah, I don't
wholesome,
ever have cereal.
good cereal. Well, I like milk. Well, I don't have dairy very often. Well, no, I have cheese and I have butter. I eat
I
a lot
don't.
of animal
Do you
fats.
consider dairy or butter dairy?
It is dairy.
Oh, I don't.
It's made
Emily,
out of heavy cream.
yeah, that's one thing that Emily was allowed to eat, though. Like her doctor, when she went through all of that, had told her to stay away from dairy, but he told her that butters, like actual real butters, were okay. And that was when
Yeah,
she went to that naturopathic doctor, like Eric's clinic.
yeah,
And I thought
yeah.
that was interesting because it was like she wasn't allowed to have, she's not supposed to do cheeses or milks or like other dairies, but they said butter was fine.
Well, what's crazy is that butter could be at room temperature and it's still safe.
Yeah, we have a butter tray for certain things, and then we have
We do.
butter in the fridge for others.
Yeah, I like butter. I won't touch margarine. Margarine spun vegetable oil. That shit's horrible for you.
So,
I won't
did you
touch it.
have that growing up?
What, butter
Yeah,
or
or
margarine?
margarine.
We did butter for a long time, and then all of a sudden the fake shit came out, margarine and well, not the fake shit came out. It was around for a while, but my parents started to go to that because my dad went to the doctor and they're like, "Oh, your cholesterol's high," so he started doing that, which was probably by far worse than just having
Right.
regular fats. But that's the thing, dude. Like,
My family always did that because my mom, she was frugal and that was cheaper. So she'd always buy the big tubs of margarine, and it
bleh.
wasn't until later, like I was divorced and single on my own before I realized butter was way better. And then I've
Mhm.
never gone back. And I'm like, holy shit. But it's same with cooking oils. Like I have vegetable oil, but I use it rarely, like
Yeah.
very rarely. 90% of my cooking oil is olive oil, and then I use butter otherwise. Avocados just, I feel like avocados usually more, so I don't even get into that.
I get avocado oil. That's what I use.
Really?
I get a big old thing of it at Costco. It's worth it. It's like $11 and it's actually pretty worth it. I used to use a lot of olive oil, but I don't use that as much. I like olive oil. I use a lot of coconut oil.
I use
I use
coconut
coconut oil,
oil. Yeah.
but I don't like using vegetable oil unless it's like in a
Oh.
salad dressing, like a vinaigrette.
Oh.
I'll use it there because I tried olive oil and it tastes fucking weird. And I don't even want to fuck around with
Really?
avocado oil. Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
It's just its consistency, and I'm not making it with coconut oil because that shit will just turn
Yeah,
hard.
that'd be, yeah, it wouldn't work.
It's
I
chunky
wonder,
mess.
I mean, you could do MCT, but the flavor would be, well, because
Weird.
it's just coconut oil.
Yeah. I mean,
So, I'm
all of that
like,
stuff. What a lot of the vegetable oil was used to actually like oil machinery before it started using for food. So that's originally where it came from, like canola oil. Like that's what it was used for because we typically used like animal oils, animal fats, render it down and use that for fuel, like burning lamps, and then
huh,
start doing that
interesting.
shit. It's kind of funny,
That's
like
nuts.
how our food kind of came to be. And
Oh yeah. Well, when I first moved out when I was 18, I didn't really know how to cook. I knew how to do box stuff, And so that was every single meal of mine was basically box dinners, or frozen dinner. So it was either frozen dinner or it's like pastaroni, rice-a-roni, hamburger helper stuff. Like not cooking, but cooking.
well, I
Uh,
mean, but when you're younger and you're trying to figure it out, like, dude, same thing. Like, I didn't cook until I got to the Navy when I had a house full of sailors that I load with.
yeah.
And dude, we did that. All the box shit. Dude, there was a time where we had this huge party and we spent
Hmm.
all of our money on booze and pizza. And then, ooh,
Damn, got him
excuse
real
me.
good.
Yeah, that's got a tickle in the back of my throat. Shut up. But hit that dangly thing in the back of my throat, right? That one song, or
Yep.
what's her name?
Oh,
But
is that Eminem?
no, that's Nicki
Oh, yeah,
Minaj.
yeah, it's a lady. Yeah.
Did you say George Michael? Was it
No,
George
I
Michael?
said Eminem, and I was like,
Oh,
I was thinking,
yeah,
oh wait, no,
I don't
that's
think
a
he's
whole
ever had
different.
that lyric. The hell were we talking about?
You were just talking about all the gay shit you'd done in life, and
Geisha.
oh
What?
no, we were talking about cooking and how you didn't cook till you were in the Navy.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we spent all this money on
Oh,
booze and
booze.
pizza, and most of the guys in the house were deploying the next day. So their ships were leaving port, but I was in shore patrol, and so was my buddy Mikey. So we just had the house. Well, everything went crazy during that time. So the next day, our gas got shut off
Oh shit,
because my friend Mark, all
forgot
the
to
bills
pay.
were in his name, he didn't pay it. So, and we didn't have any money, so I had to like my parents'
Because you
Western
just
Union
spend it
me
all
some
on
money.
booze and
Dude, it's so dumb. So dumb. But we didn't have any food in there. And this is how dumb I am as a sailor. Dumb 19-year-old. No, I was 20. Yeah, I was 20 at the time. And there was a base place where you could eat. And Navy food's pretty good. Like it's like a high-end like buffet. That's what I would say it is.
oh, okay,
And it was literally maybe quarter mile. It was like a quarter mile away from my house. It was right off base. I could have walked a quarter of a mile and got great food. What did I do? What's in my pantry? I don't know. Dude, all I got is grits. I had grits. I had grits and condiments. I had mustard, ketchup, syrup, pickles for some weird reason, and then horseradish sauce.
well, you always have to have pickles. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's always a
And
jar of pickles.
dude, I have tried grits with everything. Brown sugar, regular sugar,
Okay.
ketchup, mustard, because it's all I
Oh
was living. We
God.
had a giant fucking box of grits. And that's all I ate. And I was so sick of that. Finally, they came back.
Yep.
I'm like, that's never happening again. Call my
Hmm.
dad. He gave me a recipe. It's all over. Hold on.
Jesus, bro.
Mm.
Got him real good. Your throat doing okay?
Can you do me a favor? Can you get me some more water? Would that be okay?
Wow. Both
Oh,
live streaming today. When Emily and I went and watched the movie yesterday, there was a preview for a TV show coming out on
what?
HBO that is Dune. There's gonna be a Dune TV
Oh,
show
I
on
saw that. I saw
HBO.
that.
So I was like,
Yeah,
oh
it's
fuck,
I
That's
think it's a
sweet.
precursor.
Could be. I'm excited
Yeah.
though. I'll have to check that out.
Oh yeah.
So
I watched Alien.
the
Alien,
first one?
no, no,
Like,
no, no, no. I'll find it right here in a second. So the new Romulus, I watched the
I haven't
new
seen
one.
that one.
Alien Romulus.
Hmm.
It's the new Alien film, and I
Did you
loved it.
go see it, or is it on like Plex or
It's on
on?
Plex.
Okay, cool.
So I watched that one, and I've been like I really liked Prometheus. That was a cool movie. It was like a prequel to the Alien movies, and then they did
Oh,
another one after that, and I didn't like it as much. It was just like it was all right, but I've been waiting for like a good Alien movie since Aliens, and this one was awesome. It was typical Alien movie, but it was I don't know, just cooler
is it
character.
intense? Like, what is
I don't
it?
know. I don't get it.
Pretty
I don't.
action packed?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say it keeps my attention pretty well. Thank you, Ben.
I don't feel like most movies that are in. There's some that feel intense, but most, like for the most part, it's not.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
it's just a movie.
action movies, like because I've done martial arts all my life, and I told you I used to do choreography for
Yeah.
films where I'd make up fight scenes, and then I work with the director, and we come up with angles. And doing that, like that's when I really enjoyed movies because I would watch any shitty martial arts movie, and I'd be like, "Yeah, that's so cool," because I know what's going into it. But lately, I just feel like movies and all sorts of stuff. It's just kind of taken a meh, meh.
I feel like movies really have to be good. Like the story has to be solid. As I did like the Rings of Power TV show. That was really good. Um,
I didn't like it, but I loved the first original trilogy. I didn't like The Hobbit as much. I thought it was okay. It
I think I've seen The Hobbit once. I honestly don't know if I've really. Emily and I talked about watching that.
was okay.
Because we watched the original trilogy.
Yeah, the
Um,
extended version.
yeah, once every couple of years or so. But we break it up. So we do like half a movie one day, the second half the next day. So then, it's not as bad. So one
Yeah.
movie takes 2 days, and you're like, oh, that's fine. I'm not going to sit down and watch 4 hours all at once of this. It's just insane. So,
Plus, the hard thing is to kind of like figure out what is good out there, and things that I'll actually get drawn to are more of like random things that I would never get into that I'm now really into, but like not anime movies like Japanese or manga anime. Blah, blah,
yeah,
blah. But I like Castlevania. There's a series on Netflix, called Castlevania.
you were
And dude,
saying
it's
that.
awesome. 4 seasons, and I got my wife Steph watching it with me, and she was just like, "Oh, this is silly."
Is it
And
animated then? Like a
yeah, it's all
cartoon?
animated.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean it's rated at I mean it's mature, it's for adults.
I mean, I like
It's
Rick and Morty,
yeah,
you know.
around like the same type of swearing as far as that's concerned, but it's like medieval and there's vampires and monsters and I don't know, dude, I just love that show. I've seen it already all the way through and now I'm
That's a,
watching it with my wife and it's awesome. That one and did you ever see what's it called? Altered Carbon.
I didn't finish it, I don't think, but I watched a bunch of it and it was really good.
It's weird, huh?
Um, it was, yeah, very interesting premise. And I was like, oh, what was this other? Oh, there was a show that I watched and it was only like one season long. And I don't remember if it was like,
Was it on Amazon?
no, I think it was maybe on HBO or on Apple. And it was like this Oriental lady. And when she was little, she like sent out a message into space and it reached out to aliens or some shit. Like it was this whole, I can't even think of what it was called. If you guys know what I'm talking about, comment below. Because I can't
Yeah.
think of it. I tried to think of it like a couple weeks ago for something. I'm like, I have no idea what this is.
Hey
And
Ben,
I'm not sure what it was on. So
what was that
I didn't
show
go
that
look
we
it up.
saw? It was on Amazon with they put on that headset and they go into the future in that like Android body. Do you remember that one?
Oh, it's a
Peripheral?
game?
No, Peripheral. Isn't that
Oh.
right? Yeah, Peripheral. I think I'm
So
even saying that wrong. That
That's
show is cool.
I haven't seen that one,
Oh, it's
but
weird. It's in the future.
this is how it starts, I think, is the or is this a different one? It was around I watched like two or three trippy ones all within the same period, but they were only like 8 or 9 episodes long. It's like they'd
Hmm.
just come out or something. It was their first season, and I watched it and then was like, damn it, that was it? It's over? Have to go back and go through them because next time, next time.
Yeah, it's just like random, really good things. And the hard thing is to decide, like, it's when you find like these random nuggets of
Oh,
good movies.
you should go to Plex sometime because I know it's on there. And go watch The League. It's like 20, 30 minutes. Go watch an episode of The League. And it's weird as hell, but it's entertaining. And I think you would really enjoy the comedy style that's in that show.
Well, here's the funny thing. So, like, a lot of people would think like I would be into like The Office or Parks and Rec. Nope, never liked
Oh,
them. They
no.
bored me.
This is like
This is funny.
this is like if The Office and Parks and Rec were actually funny.
Ah, okay, cool. We
Yeah.
probably offended somebody there, but I think
Yeah.
Steve Carell clips are hilarious from The Office, but I don't find the show enjoying. I can't get
Yeah,
into it.
he has some
Or
good clips.
Big Bang Theory, same thing. Like there's a show about young Sheldon
Yeah.
that's good.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like the other show as much. I'm just like, man.
Yeah, I think it's like their middle ground shows. Like I don't mind they're good shows, but they're not like really funny. It's not something that I'm like laughing out loud. I'm like, ha, like I'm wanting to show people. It's like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
the League is one that I'm like, oh my God. Like Emily and I have watched it through probably 4 times together.
Hmm.
Um,
I'll
because
give it a
it's
shot.
just that funny. And the surprising thing is that you think that the premise is around fantasy football, and it is, but it's not. That's just the premise that they give the basis of the show. But really, it's all this comedy that goes on within this group of friends, just pranking each other, doing stupid shit. Just like it's, yeah, it's funny. You'd enjoy it, and it's more of the like making fun of everyone, and you know, kind of
Yeah.
uh,
No, I like that. It's like
so
you ever seen that movie Dirty Deeds with Norm Macdonald?
I don't know.
I just saw a clip yesterday. It was funny. They're in their car and he's driving. He's like, "Oh, movie line!" Back when there was movie lines, and the guy pulls his pants down and sticks his ass out the window, and he's driving over there and he's honking the horn, and then he just pulls up in front of the line, keeps honking the horn, and then gets out while his buddy still has his ass out the window. The guy gets up and he pulls his pants up. He goes, "He was supposed to keep driving." Dude,
That's terrible.
it's like stuff that oh man, like
Oh.
I remember when I was a kid, we used to have way more fun, man. Like here in Utah, they have this very strange tradition. I think it's strange, but you ever heard of tunnel singing over there by BYU?
Yeah, I went to it with a friend when I was like 18, 19. That was the
Yeah,
first time, and I had no idea it existed. And they're like, "You want to come to this?" And I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And they're like,
yeah.
"No, it was weird."
People
But
just sing hymns and songs and then people will randomly jump up and going, I'm going on a mission, the Philippines, Spanish speaking or Tagalog speaking or something like that. And so what me and my friends would do is we would say we were going on a mission, but obscure areas speaking a language that doesn't match that area. So my buddy goes up there and he goes, Des Moines, Iowa, Spanish speaking, and everybody's like, oh, whoa, wait, what? And it was just really funny. We used to mess with that, and then because there was such a good group of people there, we would actually take these little glass vials that you could buy online, and when you crack them open,
they'd smell like
it's
shit.
yeah. So we would go around dropping them on the ground where people were at, and then we would step on
St
them and then just we would all have them around there. We
oh
would all be in
yeah,
that area, and then we just kind of look at each other and we stepped on them, and it just reeked.
stunk.
People didn't know where to go. They were trying to go everywhere, or
That's funny.
up and down Ninth back in the day on Ninth
Hmm.
Avenue over there by BYU.
Yeah.
We used to drive up and down there with balloons and throw it at couples who are making out on the side of the road. Because it was weird, man. Like up and down this road, these BYU students would just like lay on the grass near the
That's
road and
funny.
make out. And they're like, oh,
We would go up spotlighting sometimes at night. Um, Squaw Peak, church parking lots, Y parking lot,
catching people
because
messing around.
because we'd have these big old 12 million lumen spotlights.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
this fucking big, and and then we had a couple other like 3 or 5 million lumen candlelight ones, and we'd go up, and my buddy had this PA system in his car,
Oh
and
my
it had the
gosh.
cop siren that you could flip when you would. So we'd pull up behind these, we'd pull up behind these cars on Squaw Peak late at night, and their windows are
Whoop,
all
whoop.
foggy, and we just
Yeah.
boop it and turn on the
Feet.
beam lights, and their whole car is just lit up. And we had like dudes and girls hop trying to jump out of the car, pulling on clothes and stuff. and and we're just like shining the light in their face, and then we're driving off because of course we're just a bunch of dudes fucking around in like a Civic there.
It was almost better back in the day because, like, what do we do when we're bored now? We play video games or we watch a movie. But back in the day, you went and got in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, when I worked at the state hospital, it was the first couple of years that I was in the prison wards. So we worked graveyard shift and there was nothing to do. All the patients had to stay in their rooms. And it's literally like working at a prison. And I worked on the prison ward. So it legit was a prison. And we get really bored at night. And so sometimes we just go mess around. And one thing that we loved doing, there was a water park right next to it. We knew it as Seven Peaks growing up. I think it's called like what was Splash Summit,
Yeah.
but it was this big water park over there. And during the like fall and winter time, nothing goes on there, and you'd think it's completely shut down. The only thing is there is they pay for a security guard to be there every day, 24 hours a day. And
Dang.
all they do is sit in the parking lot. So we would go fuck with them as much as we could. And so one night we go over there, and it was me and my buddy Mike. This the guy who was like my mentor there, taught me how to be a complete asshole to patients and to other staff. And so this guy, he was hilarious though. And we got one of other buddies, and we dressed them all in the sweatpants that inmates get when they come there. We got one of our buddies dressed up like he was an inmate. And me and my buddy Mike come over there with our car, and there's this gigantic, fat, short guy. And he was there in his Jeep, and he was always asleep. And we come over there, they're like, "Did you see him? Did you see him? He was just here. Did you see him?" And he's like, "What? What?" He gets up, he's like, all freaked out. And I'm like, "Dude, one of the patients escaped, and he's a murderer. We need your help." And the guy's like, he is one of these like Bookham Dano. He only passed the first part of the police academy. He could be
Yeah.
like he
It's
could work as
Paul Blart Mall Cop. Yeah.
yeah, you could be a mall cop. All we're like, dude, where? And he's like, he goes, "What does he look like?" And I'm like, he's about my height. He has short hair. He's got a red sweatshirt on, gray sweatpants, and white shoes." And our friend Damon comes skipping across the parking lot with this guy. He goes into full on Starsky and Hutch mode. He had lights on his Jeep. No reason for it, but he had lights. Hits his lights, takes off, and starts chasing him down. Damon's running through the park, and the guy is literally, he gets out of there, gets on foot, and he's chasing him, breathing heavy. And we're just so, we're like, dude, it's okay. We're just joking with you. You guys are dicks. And then during the summertime, he'd be like in his like golf cart, and we'd run right past him and run up the slide. And he's just like, "You can't be in here." And I'm like, "Shut up. You can't tell me what to do. You're not
That's
my
funny.
mom." And he was so pissed. And then finally we got talked to. We're like, "Hey, you guys going over there at night?" Like, "No, why? What's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, somebody keeps doing that."
Somebody's throwing stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But it was dude, working that prison ward was by far like one of the craziest. And it was a mental hospital. So you could imagine where,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, it was crazy. And I worked the hardest unit at first. The hardest unit.
I got
And
really good at wheelchair wheelies when my parents had their assisted living centers.
That's
But,
pretty cool. That's awesome. That's a good achievement.
I know, right? Well, we had
Yeah.
like, God, when I was living there, because I was doing, um, the first year they bought it, I worked literally like 24 hours for 7 months straight. Like 24 hours. I was there every day, all day for like 6, 7 months. And
Ugh.
then, yeah, and then my birthday came, and that was the first time that I got, oh, they did hire one person to come in 7 hours a week. And I would go run errands during that 7 hours a week to get groceries I needed or anything else that I actually had to do during those 7 hours. And then aside from that, I was there for like 7 months straight. And it was my birthday weekend. And I was like, hey, I'm going to take off like 3 days. And that was the first time I had had like any time really in 7 months. So, so in that lots of time, I got good at wheelchair wheelies and, doing random shit on all the extra e-scooters and that in there and, cooking random food and shit and trying new recipes. I was like, all right, talking with old people. I don't know, but
Oh.
definitely didn't get into a lot of trouble there. I probably wouldn't have gone over too well.
Well, no, I mean, like where we were at, we were working with all guys. There were some women on there, but and most of these people are dead, so I'm not even worried about, sharing some. And it's been a long fucking time since I worked there,
Oh, yeah. So it was
but dude,
before
there.
I met you.
Oh yeah, a long time. This is right after the Navy, and I was just a kid, but. Dude, some of the things there, they were pretty mild. Like people with severe depression, like no kind of the depression you've seen. Schizophrenia, of course. There was the good schizophrenics, the guys who always laughed to themselves and they just had happy voices.
Huh.
Like one guy named Leon, he'd just sit there and laugh in the corner. Ma Leon, how you doing? And all he would say is, yeah, sure. Like Hodor,
Hodor.
right?
Yep.
Hodor,
Hodor.
Hodor. And
Have
that's
you
exact.
have you seen that whole?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold the door.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, oh
Hold the door.
damn, that's
My brother, who works with the
interesting.
he works with the post office. There was a guy that we grew up with, and everybody called him Hodor because he's just a big dumb guy. And they're like,
Before
Hodor.
that show?
No, no, after the
Oh,
when that episode came out, like I was
yeah.
screwed at the post office. Everybody
Oh
go
my gosh.
Hodor, and he goes, "They shut up."
Oh
But
man.
no, dude, working in the hospital was crazy because I mean the mild part was that, but when I worked the prison unit, I was there with murderers, rapists, and child molesters. And it was every day. And assaults happened every week. A staff member would get assaulted by an inmate. And it was perfect time for me because I was all about the fight. So I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
cool. Hey,
Yeah.
tall guy, stand in front of that camera while I do this
Right.
really illegal thing. And all of us did it. All of us did it over there. And the reason why is because we had our hands. We were doing the work of prison guards and didn't have the backup that prison guards had. So we had to do everything we could. And the inmates knew that. And so when we held a position with it, they didn't mess with us. And I was cool. I was always like, I became a supervisor real fast. But I would like, hey man, you guys do this and I'll take care of you. I'll give you a little extra, courtyard time, or I'll give you a little bit more TV time. TV sealed in plexiglass with holes drilled in it. You couldn't touch anything. You would get rubber pencils about that big. That's as big as that's the only thing you can get to write. And it was interesting. Everything
Dang.
from guys who, like one guy, dude, I told you about that guy who killed his business partner, cut him up and buried him underneath.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy, he used to play for the LA Rams when the LA had a team called the LA Rams in football. And this guy, his name is Dave. He was huge. He was 6'9", and he was close to 400 pounds. Just a giant dude. Used to be a linebacker.
Jeez.
Went into pharmaceutical sales after he got out of being in the NFL. Made a bunch of money. Him and another sales rep working at that company decided to defraud the company and embezzle millions of dollars. And one of them would take the fall. And he took the fall because he was a big guy and he'd go to prison. Nobody's going to mess with him. And so he's like, I'll go to prison. It's petty crime. I'll go to a white collar prison for a couple of years. I get out, hold my money. So they embezzled like $4 million. And he goes to prison. He got caught. The time he was in, he gets out. His partner, who was holding his money for him, spent it all.
Yep.
and then was fucking his wife.
Oof.
He found that out through his wife and him. So he's like, well, we got to come up with another idea to make some money, dude. Come on over. And he goes, and I knew I was going to do it. And meanwhile, he told me all this because I became good friends with him because I would give him like extra food and stuff like that because this guy was massive and I knew he wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
And I said, why are you here? And he goes, my lawyer said it was a good idea for me to take a break. Prison's pretty hard. So this place is chill. He's like, I mean, you got crazy guys here, but they're all terrified of me. And I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, you're fucking giant. And he's sitting the dick beaters on this guy's hands. They're
It'd be
huge,
massive. Yeah.
scary sized guy. And he was like, so I invited this guy over and I was like, let's go talk in the garage. We can discuss everything in there. Let's get a beer. He says, hey, get a beer out of the fridge over there, would you? He goes, yeah. Took a 22 rifle, put it in the back of his head, shot him. And in order to, I mean, he lived in suburbia. It's a 22 rifle, so it's just a snap inside there. So nobody's really going to hear it.
Yeah.
And so in a panic, he cuts the body up and wraps it up in a bunch of like newspaper and then bags, like
Jesus, all
black
Dexter
plastic bags.
style.
Yeah, dude. And then after that, he was digging underneath his hold on. Shut up, Scout! Fucking dog. But he started burying the dude in the backyard. His wife and I think his kids. Shut up! His wife and kids were gone. And why he got caught was his neighbor. Neighbor peeked his head over the fence and he's like, hey man, what are you doing? He goes, damn dog died. He didn't know what to say. He didn't
Yeah.
have a dog.
Yeah.
So the neighbor's like, that's suspicious. Called the cops.
Yep.
They arrested him. I mean, he got first degree murder and desecrating a corpse and tampering with evidence and all this other stuff. And I was like, so what are you trying to do? He's like, I'm trying to get out on a lesser charge by saying that I hear voices and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, well, good luck with that. And that was actually really common during that time. Like we didn't deal with a lot of
Jeez.
mentally ill people. We
Yeah.
had this Aryan dude, swastikas all over him. And it wasn't like done like in a movie fashion. Like we got really used to prison tats and knowing what they meant because we had so many inmates coming through.
Yeah.
And dude, this guy was legit. He used to do 200 pull-ups on the lip of the metal door frame with his
Those things are
fingertips
tiny. Yeah.
in in one go. No pause, just kept going.
Jeez.
And after that, he would do 500 push-ups. We let him out into the courtyard. He would sprint straight around this courtyard for a half hour, nonstop. He was a scary dude. He would
Yeah.
also go at the very end of the hall and cry like this. Tears running down his face. And the doc's like, we're going to try a new medication on you to see if it helps out with the voices. And he's like, yeah, doc, that medication works. Thank you so much. Like, what did you give him? Ambien. We're like, oh, that motherfucker. But that guy,
That's
dude,
nuts.
he was a scary dude. He was a scary
That
dude. If
sounds
we ever had to,
crazy.
we never had to deal with
Well,
him.
James, my brother-in-law, like talking about it, I'm surprised how many Aryan people are in prison
Oh
here.
yeah.
Like he says
Oh
they're
yeah.
full of them, like tons of like white supremacists,
Oh yeah.
stuff like that. And I was like, holy
Whole
shit.
network of them across the United States in different
Yeah. I
prisons.
had
And they
no
run it.
idea. No idea.
Yeah, one of those big Aryan dudes there, if he's more in lockup, he's a shot caller. That guy's the leader. And I got to learn a lot about that. I don't know why, because I did, but I know. But dude, I got to learn about like how they hide shit. How when you shake down a cell, like my kids, it'd be really hard for them to hide shit from me because I know where everything is. I never had to figure out somebody getting a, keystering anything like bend over and cough thing.
Right?
Luckily, I never got that. But
Don't go
dude,
to jail.
but the funniest things were like random shit that would happen during there. The When I was there in the adult wards, this was like the civilly committed, where a judge just goes, "You're too crazy, go here." Um, those were the best stories. Those were the funniest stories. Those are the saddest stories. And it was by any means, if anybody's ever worked at a mental hospital or you work at a mental hospital now, you should smoke weed and lots of it because it's a tough job, dude. It's mind numbing. It sucks, but
I can
it's
imagine.
depressing, dude.
Yeah.
It's so depressing. Watching people shovel pills, fistfuls of pills 3 times a day into their mouth.
That's
You
like,
saw that?
yeah, in some, we tried to decrease the medications they were on to only what they needed and like get their quality of life better in areas because it was like, but we had gone to so many homes when they bought it because it was like, hey, what does a successful one look like? How are you supposed like, because they didn't plan on actually keeping it. They bought them to remodel, revamp, like just turn around and kind of
Flip
flip.
them.
And then 10 years later, you know, so yeah. They were like, oh yeah, because they were promised also, it'll be profitable within this time. It was years, it was way different than what they anticipated. So the whole thing was just a whole new adventure that was not expected. So,
Well, I mean, I would think that it is like, when people like open any kind of business, not like your parents doing it, like a brick and mortar, like that's all you don't think about the costs that are going to go into that and the fact that you're not going to make money like
oh
for a
yeah.
while.
Yeah,
Like you're
I
just
think there were 2 years. Um, and
oh
it's also their franchise was like, oh, marketing is this. You put out these little tissue things, give away pens, do all this stupid shit that's not marketing. And it wasn't until my parents were like, yeah, we realized we had to go make relationships with the hospitals, with the administrators over the other places, the places that they feed that into, that comes from. And you build the relationships there. And then they go, yeah, no, we want to place you in this home.
yeah.
This is a much better place for you to be than these other ones in the area because we know what happens here. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it was just weird, but that's, I don't know how many things in businesses they start and it's like, oh, this is marketing. This is what we do, right? You just got to spend this. And it's like, well, but what are your relationships? Like, who are you talking
Well,
to?
and it's the idea like you need to go in knowing that they're not going to make money. Like I know these people that just they're going to have one of the first Fazoli's in Utah, and I'm like, no, they were here before, and then they
They're
left.
bringing them back.
Yeah, they're bringing them back,
I mean,
and they're
that's wild because it's been ages.
right. You remember them? They
Oh,
used to be
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
It's like it was like cheap Sabaros,
Yeah. It was like you could
and
go get
Sabaros is cheap
drive-through pasta and some breadsticks and shit. And it was
yeah.
like, what? But it actually wasn't too bad for being
Back
that
then.
cheap. No.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
it's like totally different, right? Come get
I
your
have no idea.
diabetes in a bucket. Enjoy all
Uh,
these carbs and processed foods.
I That's why I struggle with eating out too. Most restaurants even, I feel like shit after going there. Like, there's a handful of restaurants, and usually they're the like farm to table or really clean eating ones
I
that
can eat
are,
those, yeah.
yeah, those are just fine. But a lot of the other ones, I go out and I'm like, man, I legit just feel like I ate shit.
Steph and I went in for her birthday just a little while ago. Um, we went to what's that one? Texas Roadhouse, right? We
Mm,
just ordered
yeah,
something and ate it in the car, and the chicken was good, but dude, it screwed up my guts that night. I'm just like,
yep.
wow, even chicken,
Oh
like
yeah. Well,
I can't
that's
even
that's
eat
what we
that.
realized because it's the chicken from going out. Because we'd go to like we used to go to Chili's because it was like, oh, it's cheap, and we're like, we'll get this healthier thing because it's literally rice, black beans, and chicken. But then we'd realize that even with that, our stomachs would end up feeling gross
Right?
after going there, and we're like, so then we started making our own versions at home, and it was like, well, this tastes way better. We can add more flavor, and we don't feel like shit ever. And so it's been something we're like, okay, most places we go out and we realize, well, we can make this at home and we don't feel like crap. There's a place out by you guys, um, Edna's in Lehigh.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
dude, they're really good, actually. I was
like a
impressed.
diner. What
No,
are they?
like a
Edna's, that's
fancy,
like right. It's like right over there by that teppanyaki place down the road from it, right?
yeah.
By Lehigh
Hmm.
High. Holy
It's like a
shit!
nice restaurant.
That
But
restaurant has struggled, that spot has struggled for years, and that is always full.
oh my gosh, yeah, Edna's supposedly at lunch, at dinner. If you guys are in Utah or if you are driving through it, it's worth checking out. Like
Oh yeah.
Emily and I, so usually I feel like if we spend going out to eat, if we're like 70, $80 for us two, that's pretty, like, that's a decent amount, but that's like a good, a really nice meal usually. I think
Dude,
we
that
spent 50 or 60 total between both of us. The quality of the food was fantastic. So we had gone to some other restaurant. What was the other one we went to? After Edna's, the one we just went to that was not great. Oh, we did Cheesecake Factory. That's what it was. Um, and it was meh. It was like, oh, hey, Edna's was actually maybe cheaper and we or the exact same price and the food was way better over at Edna's hands down.
have you and Emily ever gone down to Molly's Marvelous Catering?
No, do they have a storefront?
Yeah, it's a
Oh, okay.
small play. It's a small. Okay, so Marvelous Catering,
It's right
they
on
Columbia Lane,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right
at the
by
bottom
the
of the
Desert
hill.
Industry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that place is like they're only
they're
open during the
delicious.
it's
Yeah.
lunch and then dinners on Fridays.
My dad was in the bishopric of a singles ward that the
Oh
owner
yeah,
of that was the bishop of. So
Marvelous. Yeah.
every fast Sunday, they would cater a break the fast dinner. And so my dad would always bring us Molly's afterwards. So
Oh,
we would always get like the French chicken or whatever, like all of their stuff. It was fantastic. I do love Molly's. I just haven't had that in years. I
I
forget it
make this.
exists there.
It's because it's so small and they don't
Yeah.
care. It doesn't make a. It's a huge
Cater.
community
Yeah, they
favorite.
cater a ton.
They cater a ton. They're so
Yeah.
good. But I actually learned that recipe for the French chicken. I make
Hmm.
that for my family quite often. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
so good. But
Oh yeah.
everything, their ribs, their all that, it's
Mm.
so good.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know. Let us know what you guys are eating. What are your favorite restaurants? What is your least favorite fat? No, fuck that. I don't like least favorite. What is your favorite fast food? What will you actually put in your mouth? Because,
well, what's your favorite fast food? What do
yeah,
you put in your mouth? I mean, I already know what you will put in your mouth, but what kind of food will you put in your mouth?
right? I like Costa Vida. It's
Ah,
fast food for me, right? That's fast food. I think that one, or aubergine is still fast food too. Like it's pretty
aubergine.
quick.
Really?
Yeah, I
Kind of
don't know.
healthier?
Yeah, I don't like a lot of fast food stuff. I like French fries. I love me some good fries though.
Yeah, I'm a big burger guy. You know that. I'll eat any burger. But dude, it's been a while, so I don't tend to do that. If I have a burger, I make it on my own.
See, we do
That's what
burger
it's on.
bowls because Emily's gluten free. And so instead we put all the toppings like pickles, onions, lettuce, tomatoes in a bowl, dice up the patty after it's cooked, throw that in the bowl, and throw in rice instead of a bun, and then still do the exact like ketchup, mustard, whatever toppings, and just
Oh
eat it
yeah.
in a bowl. And we do that now. And I actually kind of, it's weird, but
Prefer that?
I think I prefer that over a burger half the time. Um, which
Yeah, I
is
like sliders.
really
This is
interesting.
small. I eat a lot of chicken. I eat a lot of
I do
chicken.
too.
I'm all about protein. Like I'm eating, or at nighttime, I'll have a protein shake just to
I
keep
made
me.
pho. I did like a 3 hour broth prep that I like simmered and have you
You
ever
use
heard
the
of
fish sauce and all that stuff too?
yeah, and then
I
like
love fish sauce.
anise? It's like a 10-star anise. I've
Hmm.
never heard of that before I started making this, but that one was one that was interesting. Coriander seeds. I've not done that. I've done
Hmm.
or coriander pods and then or cardamom pods and coriander seeds.
Coriander seeds. Yeah.
But I've used the other coriander and cardamom. I've just not used the actual pods or seeds before.
Mm.
And anise I'd not used at all. So that one was a new one. I was like, holy shit, there's so much depth and that to the broth because you also put in like ginger and cinnamon and cloves and Like it's a very deep flavor profile in that.
Oh yeah, it's like it's almost like how would you describe it? It's almost like cinnamon, but it's not. It's almost like clove, but it's not. It's just
Yeah.
such an interesting flavor. And in a pho broth, it's so broth. Blah, blah.
Bruh.
Well, because my son's named Phoenix and we call him Pho,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's spelled pho, right? So, and then we got that awesome one here in Utah. They got in Orem, Pho King.
Foking, yeah.
Yeah, Pho King Orem.
Yes. Because it legit says Orem under it too, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
I know. No,
Yeah.
dude, they know exactly what they're
Oh yeah.
doing. That little guy was
Fucking
like, "This is
Orem.
gonna be fucking funny. Watch."
This is
And
fucking funny. We're in fucking Orem.
they have a Pho King Salt Lake, Pho King Sandy. I mean, they've got like, dude, it's
I love
awesome.
that.
It's awesome. Like, I would go
That's
to more of those
hilarious.
places. But yeah,
I know.
I don't know. That's one thing that's been different around here in Utah is that the food has definitely stepped up quite a bit. Like, you can go
Mhm.
to a lot of, for a long time, it wasn't like that.
It's because a lot of the high end or nice ones went out because Utah was known for frugality and being cheap as fuck. So all of our Utah County high end restaurants, most of them left. We lost a lot of anything that was more than 20 bucks a plate, if that,
Hmm.
you know. I was surprised Chef's Table went out. That had been there for,
Really?
yeah, oh, it's been different things for years now. But
Yeah. Do
Chef,
you remember that guy, Chad? He owned that for a little while.
oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's just
Interesting.
a bad spot. Like when I was
Yeah.
a kid growing up, it was the restaurant.
Oh yeah. That's where I took my prom date to because it was like, oh shit,
Me
this
too.
is this is yeah, I was
The
like,
place, bro.
yep. Yeah, you're like, oh, you better go there.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't. But I mean, that's the funny thing is that there's more food, but I don't want to go there anymore. Like I just want to cook my own. Like
I
I
do
made
love cooking at home.
I've got a chicken noodle soup that I just got even better. I got it perfected. I made it
Mm,
yesterday. Dude, it hit the spot. Hit the spot. You can't get that in a store. You
no.
get what you
Soup
get is
is one thing.
diabetes and
Yeah.
diarrhea. That's what
Well,
you
and the
get.
thing, soup is one thing like you can't get in a package I've ever found that's good pre-made. I don't like any of them. Even like it's like, oh, it's Progresso. It's that like there's not one that I'm like, this is delicious. It's like everyone tastes like it's processed, like it's shitty, you know. And I'm like, I could have made this at home for probably the same cost as I bought 2 cans of soup for, and
Oh,
it would
dude.
taste a million times. Like I don't want that.
I don't see. Yeah, it's not.
I don't know.
I don't. Yeah, there's just so many things that just I can't eat anymore.
Cooking changed your life.
It's not
Cooking
just
saved my
because I'm
life.
healthier. It just tastes better. Like it's like the
Oh, it's
same
just
thing when we talk about weed. Like I'd rather smoke flower than use a pen,
mm,
right? And for those who are watching or yeah, for those who can see, um, we're doing this remotely today because I've been sick for a few days and
actually,
I
you'll
don't want to
notice
get
we've had
Brent
a
sick.
few of those, and they might
Yeah,
pop in here and there because at times it also helps us get our bucket up. So we might have a few remote ones now and then.
yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
it's good, and we're able to make more of these episodes. So, yeah, what do you guys after? I mean, this is a lot of topics. So, where you guys worked? Have you worked at some crazy ass places? Share a story.
I still think my favorite of all times was Training Table. I had the most fun, and it's weird. Like it was a food place. Yeah, but I had the most
I
fucking
know,
fun
dude.
there of
I
all
remember your
places.
story. Dude, my favorite story from the state hospital was one that involved lots of human shit. And what happened is I had this patient named Joe. Joe, he's no longer with us. He was a super sweet guy. When I got to this ward, dude, his toenails were growing so long that they were growing into the bottom of his toe,
Oh
like
man,
it curled over.
it's
And he just
horrible.
stayed in his room. And I came from the prison wards. I was moved there against my own. I guess I was too hardcore for them. But anyways, they
Uh,
moved me over there. And dude, I just wanted to help this guy out. So we trimmed his nails and I cut his hair. He started engaging, and he was the funniest guy, but he could eat anything and he would eat anything. I've taken him to guts and butts doctors. I'm pretty sure that's what did him in, but He had like a fishing lure, a large, thick comb, about $6 in quarters, two D-cell batteries, and a watch. And he would just, yeah. And
A D cell battery. Those things are
oh, dude, Joe could drink
big.
anything. So what happened one day, and you got to remember these patients are on lots of laxatives because this medication dries them out. And so it's just hard going all the time. And Joe was on laxatives, on quite a bit of laxatives. And he also smoked cigarettes, and cigarette nicotine is a laxative in some ways, right? If you want to clear
Hmm.
out real quick, drink a cup
Sure.
of coffee, smoke a cigarette, you'll have the best shit of your life,
Huh.
guaranteed.
Weird.
It'll clear you out. But Joe also really liked anything that was brought to him. One of my new staff members named Brian was this big guy, and he's like, I brought Joe two things of grape juice. It's his money. I'm going to put his names on it. I'm like, that's cool. He puts them on top of this like desk that all the patients come to. It's like if you've ever been to a hospital where you have the nurses station, that's
Yeah.
what ours was like. It was like a
Okay.
nurse.
Yeah.
And he sets both of these 64 ounces of Welch's grape juice with the little twisty knob. That's when they first came out with it instead of splitting it open like the old like milk cartons at lunch.
Oh, dang. Yep.
And Brian gets down to get a marker to write Joe on these so he can put them in the fridge where we keep the patient stuff. Joe grabs one of them, pops the top off, while Brian is looking for a marker. Doesn't take him long. Gets a marker, gets back up. Joe slams that down, grabs the other one, and Brian stops him and says, whoa, 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 you gotta stop. He goes, yeah, man, that was really good, man. That's how he sounded. And
Jeez. He drank that whole
Joe's
thing.
like, hey, can I go out? I can go out, go for a smoke, man. This back when we used to let the patients smoke. And we're like, yeah, yeah, no problem. You buzz this door. They go out two security doors and they go outside. And you had to be at a certain level to go out there. Seconds later, Joe's buzzing the door. And I pick up the phone. I'm like, yeah. And
See,
he
that's
goes,
shit.
I got to come in, Jess. And I'm like, what's going on, Joe? I had a bit of an accident. And I said, you shit yourself a little bit, buddy? He goes, yeah. And I'm like, all right, dude. So when they would come in, you frisk them to see if they brought anything inside. And as soon as I went, pat, pat, go ahead and go. And he's like, oh, it's all right, man. He's walking, he runs down the hole holding his ass. I open the door to Joe's room, and there is shit, liquid shit everywhere,
Oh,
all
oh,
over the floor. And we're talking like a 10-foot radius of
ugh,
just
gross,
puddles of
gross.
shit. It looks like yellowish brown loose mud. Okay. I'm going to get real graphic on
Ugh,
you. All right. So
gross, gross.
Joe puts on this towel. Joe's heavy set, and he has this towel that barely could cover an infant, and he wraps it around him. And I'm like, Joe, just go take a shower. And he goes, yeah, man, I get it. I get it. He goes in there. And literally, what I learned later on is Joe sat on the drain and just shit his guts out because he was on a high dose of laxatives. He smoked a cigarette and drank 64 ounces of grape juice. So this guy's on what we would call colon blow. And
Yeah,
so he just
he's
blew through that thing.
Drano.
Dude, if they used a camera on that after, it would actually shine like brushed
Yeah,
steel.
right. Oh
It
my
was
God.
bad, dude. And so
Ew.
he had a roommate who had severe OCD about cleanliness. And he's in his bed watching all of this shit go down. Literally
Literally.
shit go down.
Yeah.
And his face, if anybody's watching, these are his eyes that I see in the room. And I'm all, hey John, you
Yeah.
got to get out of the room, man. You got to get out of the room, man. This is not good. He goes, but Joe was in here. And I'm like, "No, there's too much shit on the floor. This is a biohazard. I can't have you in here. I'm gonna get all these guys to clean it up." And I get out the door and I'm all, Brian. He's like, yeah. What's up, boss? I'm like, get all the protective gear on and get your fucking ass down here and clean all this shit up. What the fuck? And he comes down. He goes,
Gross.
I am so sorry, man. I'm like, it's cool. We're cleaning it up. By this time, excuse me. By this time, I've been working at the state hospital for years. I don't even smell this shit anymore.
Gross.
Like I smell feet and ass on a day, and I don't. It's like people who work in a pharmacy. They work in a dispensary. They don't get to smell the weed anymore. It's
Mhm.
tragic, but it would be very helpful for you here. And it was so bad, but
It
Brian's
sounds horrible.
gagging, cleaning it up, which was hilarious, and I'm fine. I'm like, I'm
Hmm.
on the phone calling the maintenance crew. I'm like, you're gonna have to rip this carpet out. It's gone. You're gonna have to rip it all out. And they're like, what? And dude, there was so much shit there. There was so
It sounds
much.
like it. And on that gross,
Oh.
shitty note, go make some dinner, guys.
Hey, everybody, make sure to go through, like the show, start sharing it with some people. Give us some ideas for the sesh. All right, guys, take care.